Hello everyone and welcome to another Robcast Revenge of the Nerd podcast. Con Review Edition. Here we are again, folks. Hi, I am Rob Cicchetto, lover of all things pop culture, purveyor of so much gore every day with Zombie Portraits and Zombie Daily. I can't even keep track of all the gore I've spilled over the years. And here we are again for a convention review. I hope you guys dig these reviews. Check out the channel for other con reviews. I think I've done like 4 or 5 already this year, with varying degrees of success. So yeah, just to get my take on conventions as I go to them. Usually a day or two tops after I've been to it. So the one that we're doing today, if you hadn't guessed by the thumbnail, is Cottage Country Con. Will this be a redemption story? So for those of you who don't know, Cottage Country Con has had a bit of a sort of a up and down over the years. I remember going to the first one and it being rather unorganized, but really good. Like I did really well there, and although I didn't have I didn't have a wall, and I had asked for a wall and I didn't get one because I have a banner, blah blah blah. Anyway, that's all in the past. I don't really care. It's over and done with. But it was nonetheless a good con. The second one, that same organizer had, or booker, or whatever you want to call con organizers. The second one he had was an absolute unmitigated disaster. Like, I don't think I've ever been to a worse con than that for so many reasons. I think he went from 0 to 120 without really realizing what he was getting into. I think the first one's success perhaps skewed his perception of what to do for the second one, because the second one was like 10 times bigger, and it was like no one showed up for it, and it was horrible. It was horrible for a lot of other reasons too, peripheral to the con itself, and I think that's the last one I maybe went to of his. But this one, and you know what? Here's the thing, man. Like, fans don't care what the background noise is, or if a vendor's doing well or not. They just either go or they don't go, and they either buy stuff or they don't buy stuff that they want, or whatever. That has nothing to do with really anything, but. The con organizer's main job, other than to put the thing together. You know what? I know it's not easy, but it's actually quite simple. There's not a lot of moving parts. Getting a venue, yeah, it's probably tough, but when you get a venue, you just gotta fill it full of people who want to be there. And I'm not talking about the vendors. The vendors already want to be there. The vendors already want. I don't think there's any problem getting vendors to come to your, like, vendors or artists or whatever you want to call us as people being featured at the con. There's no problem getting us interested in coming to your thing. Your job is to get the people, the fans, to come and check out the people that are there. So that's the whole thing behind a con. And again, it's not that hard. It's not that complicated. Rather, it might be difficult. You got to work at it. I mean, you got to get out there and promote. I know individuals who go out there and are always promoting their event, like almost year round. And they get the newspapers involved, they get the local media involved. They have fun things that they put themselves in the mind of the fans. And what do the fans want? The fans want, prizes. The fans want a lot of different vendors and things of that nature, you know. So if you're doing a pop culture con specifically, so this Cottage Country Con was sort of more of a pop culture thing. It had everything. It had like toys, games, comics, cosplay contests, all kinds of like cool things, and I think it was well attended. I just thought it was really weird, and here's why. I'm going to tell you why it was weird, and you know what? I talked to other people on the floor, and they told me the same thing, and I said, you know what? I wasn't crazy busy all day, but I had like single massive sales, like and you know, not a lot of them, you know, like 4 or 5, but huge, like 17 or 18 prints at a time. Like somebody, you know, people come up and buy a whole bunch of prints, or you know, buy all my adult books, or buy, you know, things of that nature. And I was like, wow, this is really weird. It's not super busy, but like there's people around, and the organizers put me in the room with the guests, which can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can be good because that's where a lot of people go. They want to see the guests, and it can be bad because they only want to see the guests and they don't give a shit about the other stuff that's going on in there. But thankfully for me, I was honestly treated like a celebrity there. The people in the Cottage Country area were fantastic. They were so enthusiastic, like to meet me and take pictures with me and stuff. And I think that might have pissed off some of the guests that were there. I don't know. They didn't want to look at me. They didn't talk to me or anything. They didn't want to make eye contact or anything. And I was like, wow, you know, these people are pretty aloof. You know, they were good to the fans and all that stuff, which was really great. They had the one of the wrestlers there, that tugboat guy, and he was super nice. Like he was so great to the fans and everything. So yeah, no, it was a really great con. Now again, too, I was put on a corner. I was kind of in a corner, out from a corner, and that could be death too. Like there's so many variables in a convention and where you are and all of that stuff. It's not the organizer's fault. I'm not faulting the organizer for having me there. It was a good spot, but people tend to go around and cut corners when they walk. So if you're in a corner, you might not see anybody, and they could be like 2-3 feet away from you. I know, it's that crazy. Like sometimes people at conventions, they walk around like zombies. They don't look. And they don't see things. They might see it, but they might not go because it's just 2 feet over there, and that's not the way they're sort of naturally moving. It's nuts, but I've seen it a trillion times, man. I've been to a million cons, and I thought, oh no, that's going to happen this time. But again, thankfully that didn't happen. And again, it's not the fault of the organizer at all. I think he did me a favor. He didn't he wasn't trying to do me wrong or anything like that. I'm not implying that whatsoever. So the only things that I would say that I didn't like was the fact that the con was held in 3 different rooms, and that's always horrible. Always horrible for somebody. I talked to somebody in another room, and they said that they did well. So I'm really glad to hear that. But they were in the other big, bigger room. Then there was a really small room, and I'm like, oh, geez, I hope these people don't get overlooked. Anyway, you know what? I understand sometimes in a venue you have to work with what you got, and hotels are notorious for that. That's why I love arenas, like hockey rink arenas, mid-size, like community centers, things like that. Those are always the best. And I know they're not always available. I totally get it. So yeah, if you have to do it, you have to do it in a hotel. But it might end up shitty for somebody. Thankfully, this time it wasn't for me. Now, I didn't do astronomical. I did not do astronomical on this con. You know what? It was okay. But I have to say, the enthusiasm alone, like, I would go back and you know what? I would almost think it's almost like a situation for me like Timmins, where I go back and people are so glad to see me again. And you know what? They buy more stuff. They love it. I love them. It's almost like, people are expecting me in that town. And I almost feel that kind of thing with Cottage Country. I think that could be cultivated more for myself and for others too. You know what? I think it's a con I would like to go back to again in the future. I just hope that the venue is changed up if possible. Another thing I didn't like was the fact that there were no garbages handy around that I could find. I know it's a nitpick, but man, like, you end up having garbage and recycles and stuff, and I like recycling and I like throwing stuff in the garbage. I don't like seeing stuff lying around and everything. So yeah, there's that. But that's a minor thing. That has nothing to do with your success or whatever at a con. Just something I observed. So, you know, for other organizers, have some garbages around. Have a couple bins. Have a couple bins, you know, and have a couple of recycling bins too. People drink water, pop, and all that stuff, and there's lots of stuff to recycle. But guys, I'm gonna kind of cut this one as is. I have to say that I had a great time. I think it was successful, even though monetarily it wasn't mind-blowing. It was average, and I'm fine with that. You know what? Not every con you're going to go to, you're going to knock it out of the park for 1,000 million billion reasons, and you really don't know. It could be the weather, man. It could, you know, it's just that. It's just that thin a margin for so many things to coalesce and become either great or absolute shit or somewhere in the middle. So you know what? I'm always happy no matter what. I'm always going to be happy no matter what, and I really hope that everyone else did well. If you'd like to comment on how you did, or leave comments on how you think this con could have been improved, please leave them in the comments section, of course. And I would love it if you gave this video a thumbs up. And I hope at this point I've earned your subscription. So please subscribe if you can. It's so easy, and it's free, and it's all free content. So please, guys, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, and help the channel grow. I love doing these con reviews and giving people an inside view of what happens at these conventions. And the next one's coming up real soon. The next one, I believe, is going to be Capriole Days, and I'll be doing a review of that shortly after. I believe that is on the 5th or 7th of August. I can't remember exactly right now, but look it up, Capriole Days. I will be there, and I'll be doing a convention review shortly after. Thanks for watching, guys. I will talk to you all again very soon. Best wishes and love as always. Take care. Rob out.